Majority Leader and Leader of Government Business, respected Second Deputy Minority Whip, Management of Parliamentary Service, our dedicated media here present. Let me, on behalf of the minority, first commend you for your hard work all these years, and to thank you for being present for this morning's engagement. We as a minority promised from the very outset that we would hold government to account, be constructive in our criticism, offer alternatives, and be respectful in our engagement. We are sticking to that commitment, and we are not in any way going to condescend in the governance of our country in terms of our approach. This morning, permit me to highlight some inefficiencies we have identified in the governance of our country. First, government has failed to furnish Parliament with program documents for the flagship programs it has so far launched. It will be recalled that since the swearing in, Parliament has approved billions of Ghana cedis for various ministries, ostensibly to execute programs. Mr. President has gone ahead to launch these programs at various events across the country. Sadly, to date, none of the programs has been presented to Parliament to enable us properly commence the task of oversight. The 24-hour economy program, the 1 million coders program, the Agri for Economic Transformation program, the program to export labor as announced by the President, and the National Apprenticeship program, just to mention a few, have all not seen parliamentary scrutiny. Meanwhile, these programs are supposed to be executed with funds approved by Parliament. So the reason why Parliament is being kept in the dark can better be explained by the executive. But we will not relent in our demand on government to make these flagship programs available for us to scrutinize and to ensure that they are being implemented transparently, fairly, and with the necessary parameters required of government for it to benefit the people of Ghana. We cannot say that there is oversight when the basic program documents are not laid before Parliament. It is therefore imperative that government shows commitment and avails this document to Parliament for proper oversight to commence. So, the Feed Ghana program, April 2025, according to them, it is aimed at modernizing farming to create jobs, cut food inflation, and build agro-industry. Nothing has been seen. The Big Push Infrastructure Program, September 16, 2025, according to them, a $10 billion plan aimed at ensuring that there is roads and then there's national connectivity. Good idea, commendable, but no action. We haven't seen the document. And then there are so-called all-important 24-hour economic program. In Mr. President's State of the Nation address, he shifted the goalposts. He said the finance minister, in presenting the 2025 budget, will highlight the 24-hour economic program. When the finance minister came, nothing was said about it. And then we hear in the media that there's a launch of the 24-hour economy. We insist that as the people's representatives, this is the place for scrutiny of the so-called 24-hour economy. Then their Ejuma program, they also launched it April 28, 2025. The aim to create youth entrepreneurship support targeting at least 10,000 new youth-led firms each year. How are they going to go about this? What are the benchmarks? We don't know. Parliament, again, is in the dark. The National Apprenticeship Program is also one thing they launched July 29, 2025, starting with 10,000 apprentices and scaling to 100,000 in 2026. Again, Parliament has been kept in the dark. Not even the Committee on Youth and Sports has been updated on this. There's nothing. There is no ministerial update of this program on the House floor. Of course, getting to the dispatch box to put out these policy document is their bona fide. They have not done it. So one wonders whether it is just the mere media rhetoric or there is any serious document. We yet to see. The 1 million coders program, May 2025, they say they aim to train 1 million youth in AI, cybersecurity, data science, cloud, and more. And they are going to establish 50 digital hubs. Again, way back in May, Parliament was in session at the time, but we have not seen any action. We don't know when the minister would bring this. We can forgive them on the labor export initiative. That was done when Parliament was on break. So again, we pray that this labor export initiative will find space in Parliament. Now, on the governance front, this is what we've observed as minority. Yesterday, we had the majority leader. He dealt with some figures, but he didn't deal with them holistically. Our job is to look at it holistically. So this is what the data says, holistically. Recent data from Global Info Analytics comparing the July and September 2025 surveys shows a clear dip, emphasis, a clear dip in public confidence in governance direction and performance. So in July 2025, the records had it that 71% of Ghanaians believed in the country heading towards a right direction, as the majority leader said. But by September, that optimism had fallen to 66%. So a 5% decline. Similarly, the share of those who felt the country was moving in the wrong direction rose from 20% to 23%, indicating growing unease about the country's policy trajectory. So whereas the majority leader focused on the July figures and perhaps did not want to delve into the September figures, we, the minority, have looked at it holistically, done a comprehensive, outlook, July and September. So you don't go to July and forget about the present. And then the Mr. President job approval rating, yes, he was right, it was 73%, but that's all that was in July. As we speak, it has dipped. The disapproval rating has climbed to 22%. So we are looking at a 6% drop, which is huge, within just 3 months. When Ghanaians were asked about government performance, the percentage of respondents who described it as very good or good had declined from 61% in July to 54% in September, while those who viewed it as poor or very poor increased from 10% to 16%. The consistent downward movement within just 2 to 3 months shows that Ghanaians are beginning to lose confidence in the government's handling of national affairs. The optimism that greeted the administration's early months is fading, replaced by growing skepticism about its ability to deliver on its promises. And these are the issues. One, the COVID-19 levy. They pledged that COVID-19 health recovery levy in its next budget is, yet the tax remains in force pending passage of a VAT amendment. Who does that? Who does that? They spoke about it in opposition. You come into government and you're failing to do that. And let's not forget, when they said the e-levy was not good and they were scrapping the e-levy, they introduced a D-levy, the Doomsaw levy. They tried to suspend it, claiming that they were going to consult civil society. But they have since implemented it. And in fact, they have increased utility tariffs twice this year alone, in excess of 5%, 14%, 14%. So you say you are taking e-levy out of the economy because it was a nuisance tax. But in its place, you have burdened Ghanaians with utility tariffs, especially electricity, going as much as 14%. So it clearly reflects what Ghanaians are seeing. Is it a matrical agenda, or, however you may want to describe it? But the reality is that Ghanaians are losing confidence in the government. Then the road contractors' arrears. They are dealing with only 4 billion out of the planned 13 billion. What is happening? They promised that they were going to pay 13 billion. That was contained in the media review. But they are only paid 4 billion. Many of the roads that contractors were on, they've abandoned the site. So we ask, when are they going to deal with it? Then let us deal with the cost of living pressures. Whereas they would say that inflation has eased, we would want to look at the realities on the market. The recent SHS students who are going, parents are complaining because they have to buy everything. Everything. So it really negates the import of the free SHS. And even how students were placed. If somebody is in Winneba, and then you place the person in Koforidua, or the person is going to Boko, from Winneba to Boko, what is the gain? There's no value in free SHS. So the free SHS placement system that has crashed must be looked at, because it was not the case in the past, and we challenge them. The placement now is so burdensome, where parents complain to the media. It's not the minority that is saying so. Parents have had to complain about how their children were placed. So crucially, we cannot say that the inflation has helped to stabilize prices. No, that is not the case. And then if you monitor the opportunity for jobs, we really getting nothing. We have not seen any serious job creation effort. For the private sector, for instance, they came to cancel the 1D, 1F. They say they don't need the 1D, 1F. But the 1D, 1F was a major boost for the private sector. We, MPP, are center-right ideologists. We believe in the private sector. The private market creates opportunity for the industry to grow so that they can employ more. They are social democrat, center-left. We don't know what they intend to plan. But we cannot say that they have shown seriousness in terms of job creation for the private sector. That is why the Ghana Statistical Service report that youth unemployment is averaging 32% for the age bracket 15 to 24%. High joblessness amidst rising living costs reflect a shortfall in translating the macroeconomic gains to household welfare. Now let's come to the health sector. Health sector workers have been complaining. We know that over 200 junior doctors who are worked for 10 months without salaries, and more than 800 who qualify as medical doctors still await posting. In October, we know that Junior Doctors Association threatened a nationwide strike withdrawing outpatient and emergency services to protest these delays. Similarly, we know the nurses and midwives have also protested 8 to 10 months of salary arrests, forcing management promises by revealing poor workforce financing. Again, this cannot be said that a reset government that is making things anew, is doing to help revamp the economy. If you forget about critical sectors of the economy, your frontline workers, definitely it demonstrates some lack of priority on your part as a government. Education, the workforce there. Many of our qualified teachers complain that the sector has not been able to place them, or even those who were placed have not been paid. The unresolved service conditions has also led to labor unrest. Newly posted teachers have gone 8 months plus without salaries. We have also not seen any infrastructure improvement, any facelift. Government has not, since January, they brought a budget. The sweetness of the pudding is in the eating. From day one, we expect them to come prepared. We have not seen any effort in terms of data regarding infrastructure facelift, dormitory, classroom construction, and the Gov't fund. There is no document before Parliament telling us what Gov't fund is doing. So far, nothing. If there is any such thing, we challenge them. We are ready for them. So we would stay here for now, and then I'm sure after the majority leader has made known his remarks, we will deal with the other sectors as and when your questions come up. Thank you so much indeed, and God bless you for your attention.